Hi everybody, welcome to Matthew's Movie Mentions. This is week 29, so films up to the 23rd of July. Today we are going to discuss Killer's Kiss, Okja, I don't know, Swiss Army Man, DC Superhero Girls Intergalactic Games, Thor Ragnarok, Much Ado About Nothing, Paths of Glory, and DC Superhero Girls Hero of the Year. This week actually features the first time in about 4 weeks that I didn't watch the movie. I think making sure that I watch one film a day was really helpful for building up a head of steam into all this, and enjoying the movie watching itself. I'm not under pressure to fit more than one in to make up for other days, so I think I need to try and get into a longer streak of doing that, because I actually really quite enjoyed it. To get through the films, Killer's Kiss, I'm continuing to watch all the Kubrick films that I've never seen before. This one was a felt fairly conventional noir story, both the writing and the execution of it. You can see that they are doing a lot on a little with a very small budget. The performances were definitely given space to breathe because there's not a huge amount of content in here, so they sort of drew out most of the moments, which gave them a chance to actually deliver some drama. They weren't encumbered by too much plot, let's say that. Okja, let's go with that. I enjoyed The Host immensely last week, so I thought I would seek out more films from Bong Joon-Ho. If I'd known that this film had Tilda Swinton and Jake Gyllenhaal and Shirley Henderson in it, then yeah, I would have watched this a lot earlier than I did. The film was odd slightly because it felt like it should be pitched as a moralistic lesson for children, but the language and the visuals and some of the content they were doing, it was much more adult than definitely a child would be subjected to. I enjoyed the film thoroughly. It was really good, a great piece of science fiction, and a pretty good adventure yarn. But yeah, a slight amount of dissonance about the content, but the way it was delivered. Swiss Army Man is the oddest film I've watched this year, I think. It was just weird, and I didn't expect it to be quite as weird as it was. There were some interesting moments in it, but it was much darker at the end than it seemed it was going to be. So, yeah, very strange one. DC Superhero Girls Intergalactic Games goes on a list of films that are better in their first half than their second. The first half had DC in-jokes, character moments, and general comedy that was superb. But then the last act, at least, it was just an incredibly long series of fight sequences that didn't deliver the same sort of quality. It was good fun. This is clearly a very, very good series. Thor Ragnarok was superb at the cinema, and it's superb at home. I wish that the reveal in the middle hadn't been revealed in the trailers, that we hadn't known about it coming up to the film. But that notwithstanding, it's one of the few times that Marvel have made their protagonist fight that's been natural. They do it in every film they can, and it's almost a fetish for them at this point. Every performance in this film is exquisite. Kate Blanchett, her look, her delivery, it's one of the best Marvel villains there is. Taika Waititi's writing, having seen more of his films, then going back to this, you can feel how much of him is in it, and it's head and shoulders above what other people are doing in the genre. Much Ado About Nothing is the 2011 version with David Tennant and Catherine Tate. We're covering that on Pop Culture Deprived in a few weeks. It's much less abridged than the Joss Whedon version, although similarly it's in a more modern context. There were some changes that didn't work for me, but there were other changes that I did like. The two leads, fabulous. There was a scene that they gave Beatrice's overhearing scene that I didn't enjoy. It disappointed me because Tate is better than what they gave her. But by and large, it was really well done. Paths of Glory is me working on more Stanley Kubrick. In this, you can see a lot more what he would become and what his films would become. The camera is always distant. It doesn't judge what you're seeing, but it's the performances that really come through of, some of these people are actually quite distasteful. Some of these people are quite sympathetic. The superiors are perhaps a touch too moustache-twirling villains, but otherwise it's a very well-told tale. It's got a lot of tension throughout. And DC Superhero Girls Hero of the Year. I've ended up working backwards through the series somehow. It was less funny than Intergalactic Games, but actually a really good film. There were a lot of stories in this. Every character in a very big ensemble had something going on with them, often in pairings, which was quite good. And then it all comes together, and the film in the end is actually a great film for children. There was a lot of really interesting stuff going on. My recommendation this week, I'm sure everyone's seen Thor Ragnarok, so it's probably a tie between DC Superhero Girls Intergalactic Games and Paths of Glory. Intergalactic Games was good family fun and lots of jokes about and by DC characters that you might enjoy. And Paths of Glory was a gripping wartime tale, lots of corruption and inhumanity, that you could see Kubrick's quality in it. So yeah, go and check both of them out. Next week, a few interesting films. We've got a couple of podcast recordings coming up next weekend, so Much Ado has now been watched. I've got to watch Hackers, and I've got a few other interesting films on the list that have suddenly come onto Netflix and Amazon. So I will see you next week for week 30.